The following episode of Dad vs. Daughter was made possible by a contribution from Eagle-gryphon Games. Hello and welcome to another episode of Dad vs. Daughter. I'm Tim the Dad.
And I'm Chris, another dad.
Chris, what are we going to play today?
We're going to play Railways of the World, but two special editions.
Yeah, there is a brand new Kickstarter coming out from Eagle-gryphon Games, and that's going to add two new maps to the Railways of the World system, Sweden and Australia. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of tell you what is new with those two maps. We are going to then play a round on those. We're going to peek in on those games because it's kind of a fairly long game. And then we're going to come back and tell you what we think. So check it out. As you can see, this is a fairly long map, and I'm going to do kind of a flyby and just kind of show you all the cities on that in just a minute. But first, I want to talk about the cards that we get. Starting off, you can see we have a whole bunch of brand new Railroad Baron cards. I'll just show you those. We have 4 new Service Bounty cards. So some of these are familiar from the base game, but you can also see we have new hotels and such. So then we have these ferry line cards, which say you may build over 1 ferry hex for free. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. And then we have this extended ferry line, which says you can build over up to 3 hexes for free. Now, the ferries are something that's kind of new to the Railways of Sweden map, and let's take a closer look at those. So down here at the bottom of the map, you can see we have little ferry icons here. There's 8 of those. So in order to build over those, you need to have that new ferry card. The one that lets you build over 3 is really a huge thing, because you can see you could go from Stockholm down to Visby, or even go over, in these other areas. But that would be a huge advantage to be able to get that card. But you have to have those cards in order to build there. Now that is the only spot on the new board where the ferries exist. Now let's take a flyby of the board. We are about halfway through our game. We have 4 of the 8 empty city markers. Now, I do want to point out that these are from the original Railways of the World, these empty city markers that Chris has. And you can see Chris is pretty much, he is red. He's got control of this whole area down here. He's got some of the ferry lines, which are new to this map. And then we haven't really built much to the north, but that could change here very soon. So we're getting ready to start the next turn. We are at the auction phase. Chris, as the current first player, you get to start the auction off.
And I'm going to start with 2,000.
I will go 3.
4.
5.
6.
Yours.
Okay. 6,000. And turn order then remains the same. And I will spend 4,000.
I will say I'm at a level 4 train. Chris is at a level 3.
I am. So for 4,000, I can build 2 regular tiles. Regular terrain, yes. And with that, then I have completed the Gothenburg to Visby line.
Yeah, and that is worth 4 points.
4 points.
I think I will build as well. I am going to build, let's see, it's going to be 2, 4, and another 3 is 7.
All right. And I have a level 3 engine, so from Visby to Gothenburg is 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
So fix 2.
Yeah, I'm going to deliver this blue cube from here. 1, 2, 3, 4 down to Gothenburg.
And then I'm going to upgrade my engine. Going from a 3 to a 4 for 10,000.
I'm going to urbanize. What's the name of this? I'm going to urbanize Sundsvall. That's going to cost me $10,000. And I am going to make that a, I think I'm going to make that a purple city.
Yep. And you get 2 cubes.
And black and red. All right, so now we are on to the income. Chris, you are sitting at $21, but you only have 1 bond, so you're going to get $20,000. I'll give you a couple of 10s.
Thank you.
And I'm to the point of diminishing returns. I am all the way up here at 17, and I have 3 bonds, so I'm only going to get 14. I'll throw 1 in and take 15. And then we'll have a new card come out.
Our new card is a mine deposit. Pick any city adjacent to a mountain hex. Add random goods cubes until there are matching colored cubes in that city.
All right, so we're going to do another turn. Consider this a bonus. We're back to the auction action, because in a 2-player game, this really moves very fast, especially since we've played Railways of the World a lot. We pretty much kind of have an idea of what we're doing. So you are first to bid.
I am, and I'm going to pass.
You're going to pass, so I will pass. And the way the rules state is if all players pass, then the first player passes to the next player on the left, which would be me. I think I'm just going to go ahead and... Do I want to deliver? Or do I want to build some... Yeah, I think I'm going to build some track. So I'm going to spend $10,000. Actually, I'm not going to spend that. I have a mountain engineer that says on a future build, all mountains are half price for that build. So instead of that being...
Where are you building? I'm sorry.
I'm going to build from here to here.
So that's 2, 4, 6 total.
That'd be 6,000, so it would only cost me 3.
I'm sorry. Right. You're building from here to here.
Yeah.
It's 2, and then these are half price, 2 and 2.
Okay.
So 6,000 total.
All right. So I will spend my 6,000, and that is my mountain engineer. That is a one-time use.
While you're finishing that up, I'll do my turn, which is I'm going to turn in my engine upgrade card to upgrade to a level 5 engine.
Okay, so yeah, now we're starting the second one. I'm going to deliver this yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's going to hurt. I think I'm going to upgrade my engine again to a level 6 for 15. Yes, 15,000.
This is is where Chris is going to start overtaking me. I am going to deliver this purple from, actually, you know what? I take that back. I'm going to deliver that purple. Since 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to catch you in time, though. But I'm going to deliver a red cube from
Malmo
to Stockton.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Stockholm.
5, 6. Are you at 7?
Of course it's Stockholm.
Or you got...
It should be 6.
1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So 6, right?
Yes.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right.
I should have recognized that's the only city on this map I know. Stockholm.
All right. So we're at income phase. You are at $19. Minus 1 will be 18, and I am at 11. Minus 3 is 8. Turn in those two, and I'll take a 10. So that's pretty much gameplay in a nutshell there. We're going to see how the rest of this plays out. I don't have a good feeling because Chris is a master at this game, and he usually kicks my butt. So we'll check back in at the end of the game. All right, so as I predicted, Chris was able to fly past me. He upgraded his train to level 7. I was a level 6, but he ended up with 79 to my 69. But yeah, he was able to really kind of abuse that whole system down there. You really had the whole southern part of Sweden there, where I had the kind of the mid area. But yeah, you had a lot longer routes. I think that was kind of what did it.
Yeah, you kind of take a chance through the middle portion of the game by by taking the upgrades in the engines and building a couple extra rails to get the links in there, but then it pays off in the last 3 or 4 turns.
Yeah, I started off pretty strong. I only ended up taking 3 bonds, but you were able to only do 1, mainly because I think that ferry route got you cash at the beginning.
It did,
and that didn't hurt one bit. All right, so now let's get to what we think.
Yeah, so I'll go first. So obviously I'm a big fan of the Railways of the World series to begin with. I really like this map and the way that it's laid out, with the way that there's not a lot of predefined color cities next to each other.
You really, I mean, there's a lot of gray cities. In fact, we urbanized, 1, 2, 3, 4. Did we only urbanize 4?
It looks like 4.
But yeah, you have so many gray cities down here that you pretty much have to do that in order to get any kind of delivery system going.
Yeah, so I like the layout of the board, north to south, where there's some thin stretches where you get a lot of overlap of the trains. I like the amount of mountainous country, mountainous terrain, but then the cards offset that a little bit by if you get the Mountain Engineer card, you can cut that cost in half to build up here.
Yeah.
Although you see we didn't do a lot of that.
Yeah, and I think I screwed up because I had that card, and I think it only saved me, what, $4,000 or $5,000.
Yeah.
I should have actually used that up there. Plus, I had the Perfect Engineering card, which I didn't even use, where I could have built a 5 segment link, and I didn't do that. I did have a couple hotels.
Once per turn.
Yeah, the hotels really didn't pay out too much for me. I always seem to gravitate towards the hotels just for the quick cash. But the other thing is this has a different scoring track than what the base game does. And so you can see you accelerate fairly quickly, but then you start to kind of get over that hill and you're not getting a whole lot of money. I got up there kind of fast and then I started having diminishing returns.
Yeah, it was interesting because you are almost forced to take more bonds in this version, this variant, than the other variants so far. But then that's offset again, like Tim said, because you're generating that income a lot faster on those early steps. And then once you finally get comfortable that you're able to expand and do those things, then yeah, then your money is cut off basically.
Yeah, and this was only 2 players, but this does go up to 5. And this could get really, really tricky. I mean, this kind of looks busy down here. It's all you, And if you threw some other players in there, in fact, I probably should have got in just to kind of disrupt things a little bit, and I didn't do that. So that's on me. Chris is a much better Railways of the World player than I am. I don't think I've ever beat him.
I don't know about that, but I appreciate it.
But yeah, there's a lot of interesting things. There is a lot of mountains. So if you've got the cash, which I did early on, I was rolling in the dough. I should have probably started building up here, but neither here nor there. I do like the fact that you've got just a little bit of a ferry system. I think, maximize that. You got the one early on that let you build onto the 3 ferry lines, and then you kind of got those other cards to expand there.
Yeah, I like the concept of the ferry line, and that it's all driven through the cards. The only way that you can build those lines are with the cards. So you need to capture those, and there's not any location that you can just play one card and have a link system set up, really. There might be this one. Yeah, there's one place that you can do that, but it's to an uncolored city. I like that rail system, or the ferry system, quite a bit. You can almost use that to generate kind of like the upper North America, Eastern United States, where you've got New York and Boston and all of those cities next to each other. You can almost build that down here with the ferry system. I like that a lot.
Yeah, and it's, when we started off and we placed the cubes randomly, we didn't have a lot of great options there. In fact, I kept loading up this city just because it was kind of a major hub for me, and I was able to kind of get some money that way. But then you kind of came in and kind of put the kibosh on my system there. But again, I like the fact that the cities are more spread out in this one, as say like Nippon, which is a really good 2-player map, but the cities are so tightly packed. At least you've got distance here, so you can kind of spread out.
Yeah, this is a great variant. I really enjoyed this play.
All right, so I think that'll wrap it up, unless you have any more final thoughts on it.
No, I don't think so.
So that is Railways of Sweden. You can see the Railways of Australia map is huge. This is on par with the size of the map that is in the base game of Railways of the World. But first, let me show you our new Baron cards that we have here. We have our new service bounty cards, 4 of those. And then we have these new rebound cards. Now these are going to be played kind of like the single-use cards, except with this symbol, it's going to tell us that we're going to add those back into the offering. So you can see we have a number of those. We have a couple of triple gauges. The Spirit of Tasmania, which this, kind of like Sweden, is going to allow us to build on some ferry routes, and I'm going to show you those in a minute. And then we have some other starter cards. We have Mine, Passenger Lines, and Speed Record. One of the new features for Railways of Australia is the introduction of towns. Now there are 10 towns on the map. I'm not sure how well these are going to show up. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, the way those towns are developed is when we build our tracks out as one of the 4 builds that we get, we are also going to be able to make that town into a city. Now, that city will be a new city. It'll be gray, and we're going to add 2 cubes to that, and it can be urbanized later. But the cost to take that from a town to a city is $5,000, in addition to paying for your other rails that you're going to be put down. Now, we do have these new town cards that are going to come up, and if they do, if the town has already become a city, then we're going to disregard this. But if not, then we are going to basically make that town into a city by the use of the cards. And the cards will tell you put a new gray city tile on that town, and it's going to tell you a number, so we can easily find where they're at on the map. But you can see we have 10 of those. We have Mount Newman, Esperance, Halls Creek, Wyndham, Tennant Creek, Mount Isa, Whippa, I'm probably mispronouncing that, Broken Hill, Serviceton, and Bork. You can also see that the map is broken out into sections. You see these white border lines. There's one that goes across here and there. Now, that is to help scale the game using this map. When you are playing with fewer players, you're only going to be using the eastern side of the map, and you're going to be using these 3 regions. When you have more, you're going to be adding the central region, and then for the full player count of 5 or 6 players, you're going to be using the western part. Now, during our playthrough, we're going to talk about how those come into play, but essentially, you cannot just cross that border any place you want. You have to actually cross through a city, and there are also towns that you can develop in order to cross there as well. So down here in Melbourne, you can see that we have those 4 ferry spots. And then let's just go ahead and do a flyover of the rest of the board so you can kind of see what cities we have in each of the areas. We are about halfway through our game on Railways of Australia, and we are to the auction phase. I am in current first player, so I will start the auction off. I'll start it off at 1,000.
I'll go 2.
You know what? I'm gonna let you have it for 2 because I'm feeling generous.
Right.
Once again, I am green. Chris is red, and we have 5 empty cities on the board, so we're a little over halfway through. 4 more and we'll trigger the end. Chris is way ahead of me. He's already at 61 points, and I am at 40 points. So,
all right, I'm going to deliver purple down to Melbourne.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6.
Yeah. Wow.
And that triggers an empty city.
I'm going to deliver from this new city, this is something new with the Railways of Australia. We actually have towns, but this town has become a city. So this is Serviceton. So I'm going to deliver there, and that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 down here to Hobart. And we're on to the second round.
All right, I'm going to upgrade for 20,000.
Wow.
To a level 7 engine.
Yeah, Chris has pretty much got this whole East Coast wrapped up there. Not a lot I can really do. I'm going to go ahead and deliver this again. That's going to be for another 4 points, and that will trigger another empty city. Puts me up to 48. Again, these are with the original Railways of the World, so that's why those will look a little different.
All right, and then I'm going to deliver for 7 from here. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to Melbourne.
Oops, should have changed our turn order.
Which triggers another empty
7
city.
Puts you at 20, well, it's 74. So we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 1 more actually will trigger the end of the game. And I am just getting smoked. So I guess I will deliver this blue cube down here from Hobart up to Albury. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3. And at least it does get me around the other side of the scoring track. All right. So once you get past 50 or 49, all of the income is starting at 10. Chris actually has 3 bonds, so he's going to take $7. I only have 1 bond, so I will take $9. And we are very close to the end, so I think we're just going to go ahead and keep the camera running.
Sure.
New card comes out. We have new town, Wipa or Wipa. I know I'm horrible at pronouncing these. So we're going to put a new city marker on that. Now, in the course of the game, we could have actually upgraded that town to a city. It would have cost us $5,000, but whenever one of those cards come out, we're going to put that token on there. We're going to add 2 new or random goods from that. This is going to be discarded, and then we're going to flip over another card. And we have Zigzag. On a single future build track action, all mountains are half price and ridge crossings are free. So we are back to bidding. You are first.
Pass.
So when you pass, if everybody passes, it goes to the next player on the left, which would be me. So we'll just swap locations there. Well, I'm going to spend some cash. I'm going to build from Brisbane to, what is that? That's Wollongara. That's going to cost me 3 for the water and 4 for the mountains, so 7 total. I don't know if this is a smart thing to do, but you know, it's something to do. Give me a couple of curved pieces here. So that was my first.
So I'm going to deliver from here. Purple 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to Melbourne.
Oh yeah, that was huge. I'm going to build from Wollongara to Sydney, and that's going to cost me 12,000. My second turn.
I'm going to deliver from Melbourne to Townsbury.
Purple?
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yep.
Wow. This is just this is a real major butt kicking.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, don't apologize. You are the master at this game over me. I think I'll just put myself out of my misery, and I am going to deliver from Sydney to Birdsville. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is only. It's only going to be, yeah, that's only 5. For some reason I thought it was going to be longer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. So 5 gives me, it puts up to 6, and we have emptied our final city. I think that was my last turn, isn't it?
All right.
I delivered, yeah.
And then so I guess I get the last action, which is another Melbourne to Townsbury.
The purple, yeah. So it'd be another 7, which puts you up to 45, which would be 95. So that's it. That's the end of the game. Yeah, that was a real major butt kicking. All right, so let's just go ahead and get into kind of our post-game thoughts here. This, I think, was your key, having that East Coast route.
It was. So one of the features of the Australia rules is you have this concept of regions. And so this eastern area is broken up into 3 regions. And you can't build across these region markers without going through cities. So I built through those cities to make sure that I can pass materials back and forth through the regions easily.
Yeah, that was really good. And then upgrading your engine all the way to 7 and being able to deliver all along that route was huge, because there was no other purple around that. So that was a nice long route.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at is that Aubrey?
Yeah.
There's 3 more. Those are 6 deliveries of 6s each.
Yeah.
So that's another 18 points sitting on the board.
As Chris just pointed out, we didn't actually finish our scoring. So you lose 1 point per bond. So Chris will lose 3 points. 1, 2, 3. Can you lose more? I'm going to lose 1. And then our Baron cards, I had Francis Webb Shields, who would give me 6 points if I was the player with the highest engine, which you just kind of took off, and so I get no points for that.
Mine is James C. Clemmy. Gained 5 points for completing the most major lines. I completed 2.
Yep.
So I get 5 points there.
So yeah, that puts you at 97 to my 55. All right, so now let's get to what we think. So we've cleared off the map in order so everybody can see it nice and in all of its glory, because this is a big map. This is the same size, I think, as the original.
I believe so, yeah.
Railways of the World map.
It's a 6-panel map.
So it's pretty big. I do like how they have things kind of positioned out, because, as I said before, this scales based on the number of players. In a 2-player game, you're only going to be using the eastern coast, which is 3 regions. And I'm not sure how well these pick up, but you can see this first region here is pretty small. This next region is a little bit bigger, not much, and then you've got a bigger top region. And then you've got this whole middle section here, and then this whole western side. So as you have more players, that's really going to open the board up, which I like that concept of having the territories or having the regions, because you can't cross unless you're going through a city. So it makes it very strategic when you're adding more players, how you're going to actually do that. But you do have that over here when we did the 2-player game, where we had to kind of watch how we were crossing over. It didn't come into play as much, but I think when you add more players, that really is everybody's going to be jockeying for position.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's key in this particular map.
So was there anything in particular that you liked that this map did over, say, any of the other ones that you've played?
Because we only played with the 2-player, I don't know how it feels stretching out. This one feels a little bit more like the Eastern United States, except that you don't have one central area that's close. You've got a couple towns here that are close by and a couple towns down there that are close by, that you're really able to start generating income right away by just placing one set of tracks. So I think this has a feel of the Eastern United States, but it's not a cut and paste of it. There is a very different feel because of the multiple clusters, and then also, as you mentioned, kind of the additional regions factor in here.
Now, this also adds the towns, which we didn't actually build up any towns on our own. Those did happen when the cards came out. But early on, I was actually going to try to do that. To place a town or to place a city over a town cost you $5,000, and you have to do it as part of your normal build track action. And I was going to do that. However, I then noticed I was over here, and I was going to violate the region rule. And then we had, like I said, some of the other ones that had come out. I had considered actually building Burke up and try to do a north-south route there, since you pretty much had the East Coast wrapped up. But I never did get around to actually doing that. But I do like that concept of, hey, here's some areas that are just kind of out there, but you can develop them.
I like the major lines here as well. They're spaced out a little bit further than some of the other maps that we've played. With Brisbane to Hobart as an example, you have Brisbane here and Hobart all the way at the bottom of the map. You have Cairns to Canberra. So it's a little bit further of a stretch in order to complete a major line, and the points that you're getting for them are not quite as high as some of the other maps. But I really like that aspect of it, so that you're not just building for the sake of building in these cases.
Yeah, and you've got the major lines here for the middle section, which you actually go through 3. So Adelaide to Alice Springs to Palmerston, and then Brisbane, Mackay, and Pine Creek. And then over here, you've also got just using 2, Broome to Geraldton and Perth to Sydney, which would take you from one side of the board to the other. So that would be a pretty challenging feat to do it. It's worth 8 points.
So the other inclusion in this particular game is the what they're called, bounce back.
Oh yes, the rebound cards.
Rebound cards. Thank you. So in the display of cards, some of those cards that you're going to take are going to allow you some action. But once you've completed that action, they actually go back into the display of cards or the tableau of cards, so that someone else can take it and use that action as well.
Here's an example of one of those. So you can see here's the little icon here. So yeah, so I actually did use this one. And then once I use it, then like Chris said, it's going to go back in the display. I can grab it again or somebody else can grab it.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting add to the game. Especially that one in particular that allows you to build the they're not the port, it's not port, the help me
the
out.
ferry.
Yes, down between Melbourne and Launceston.
But yeah, I don't know if this shows up very well, but there's 4 ferry lines right there.
Yeah, so that card, being able to build it and then it goes back in the display, somebody else can take it then and play it, or again, as Tim mentioned, he could grab it and do it again. So yeah, I think this is a very interesting layout. Again, we focused because we were playing a 2-player on this side of the map, but I could see how the addition of additional players here, and this goes to 6 players, is that correct?
Yes. On this
yeah,
map.
so I can definitely see 6 players being able to utilize that whole board.
Yeah, and usually I'm a little leery of 6 players in a game, especially with Railways of the World. I know we've done it. I think the very first game that you and I played of this, I think we had 6 players, and it did take a long time.
Yeah.
But
it was new for 5 people, so.
Yeah, and me being one of them. But yeah, I even with 5 players here, I think it's going to be very interesting. Like I said, with crossing these region boundaries and having to go through the cities to do it. Because if you're going from western to central, you've really got 2 places to go. You either go through Cook or you go through that little town that's up there after you've made that into a city. And then over between central and east, you have Mount Gambier, Mildura, Broken Hill, Birdsville, and Mount Isa. So you have a few different places that you can cross there. So that does make it very interesting. Now, one of the things I want to just briefly highlight is a little expansion that comes with this that was actually going to be, I heard, in a previous version, but they delayed it until now, and that is the switch tracks. So the switch tracks are going to look like this. At the time of this recording, we did not have those available to use, but this is what they look like, and that's going to allow you to basically have like a spur off of one of your other lines to go to another city. So again, that's going to add more options and kind of help you out where things might be congested. You might be able to use that in order to connect up to another line. I do want to point out the art that's on the board, and I'm not remembering if the other ones had this, but you can see you've got kangaroos there, you've got a camel there. Plus, I like the fact that you kind of have that deserty look throughout that. I also think that the mountains and the water regions are very well marked, as well as the ridges that you have in order to pay extra to cross those. So I do like the overall presentation of this. This is really good. This is a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, I found this to be yet another really good addition of map, and the rule set as well.
Yeah, because even with this one and the Sweden map, while it does add a couple of little things, it doesn't change the overall feel of the game. So we're very familiar with the game. It didn't feel like we had to learn anything really new in order to play. We were able to kind of jump right in. We kind of referenced the rules a little bit, but not much. So I think if you're already very familiar with Railways of the World, these 2 new maps, you're not going to have any issues with them.
Absolutely.
All right. So we're going to wrap it up here. That was railways of Sweden and railways of Australia, and we will catch you guys next time.
Bye.
Thanks for watching our video. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, click that like and subscribe button. You can also follow us on social media like Facebook
and Twitter at DadVDaughter.
and if you like what we do and you want to support us, you can visit our Patreon page. So thanks for watching.
Thanks.